every human has intrinsic worth, that we are all 100% lovable, that we are all 100% worthy, and that we all have an identity that is untouchable. I'm going to talk about, as we move forward, the blue dog and the red dog exercise. And this is a concept that we can teach to children. We can teach this to kindergartners, to junior high students, to high school students. And I think that we should be teaching this in our schools. I think that we should be teaching it to our teachers, to our coaches, to our principals, to our mayors, to our CEOs, to our parents, to ourselves, to our partners. I think that we should be teaching this everywhere, because we talk so much about equality, and we talk so much about rooting out bigotry and discrimination. But where does discrimination come from? I'm telling you right now, it begins as children. We begin to discriminate what behavior is good and bad, what behavior is okay and not okay. And then we begin to associate ourselves with our behavior. I'm good, I'm bad, I'm okay, I'm not okay. She's good, she's bad. We begin to discern and have filters, and we begin to assess for what's superior and inferior, who has power, who does not have power, how do I get power when I need to feel safe, when I need to feel okay. We can be teaching this to our children. And I'm going to tell you that every single undesirable behavior in the world is coming from a point of pain. It is coming from pain, from a wound. And it is almost always some version of I am not enough. I am not enough. I am not safe. I'm not loved. I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. I am not okay. And from that source, that belief of not enoughness, comes every one of these behaviors that we are so trying to heal. But what we do is we shame the behavior, and as such the person. We don't separate person from behavior. We do this with children, but we forget to do it with adults. And I used to work for the school district, and I worked with kids that were affected by autism and other special challenges. And there was always this point was driven home over and over and over again. Everybody knew this, right? That you do not define a child by their behavior. People would sometimes slip and do it. We all do. But we have to catch it, right? He's a runner. She's a hitter. And that was always corrected. That child is not defined by their behavior. He's autistic. We don't say that anymore, right? He is affected by autism. She is affected by autism. They are affected by fill in the blank. That child is not their disability. That child, that person, is not their behavior, and neither are you. You are not the worst thing you've ever done. You are not the best thing you've ever done. If you're not your behavior, then what do we make of it? And what I want to teach you as we move forward is that behavior is a byproduct of your thoughts and your beliefs. Again, that thought, that belief, I am not enough, that is a belief. And that thought is what creates behavior. And those beliefs are a byproduct of your deepest emotional wounds. And those deep emotional wounds must be pulled up. And we've got to begin to look at them and heal them so that we can return to this, which is our true identity and our highest self, so that we can lay down these protective mechanisms and we can embody the person that we were always meant to be, that we are, but sometimes it gets so clouded. It's like the sun is always there, but sometimes it gets so clouded over, right? And the same happens for us. We all have this intrinsic worth and this intrinsic lovability, but sometimes it's pretty hard to see. But if we can begin to see it in ourselves and believe this in ourselves, that's when we can begin to see it in other people, even when it's hard. That's how I can look at somebody who's being cruel to me and really not showing up well, and I can remind myself, this person is clearly in pain. She is suffering. This is not Robin coming through. This is not Jacob coming through. This is something else. This is pain. And if we're able to just remember that, we're not always going to have compassion. I don't always show up this way. Gosh, and sometimes, oh God, the nastiest is when we shame people for not, right? I did this even recently, like, well, I would do better than, I would have more compassion than that. How dare you not have any compassion, right? And you can morally shame somebody. God, that's nasty, right? And that's that self-righteousness coming out. Man, I don't like that one. I really don't. Where does that come from, though? Right? We have to be able to even then look at ourselves when we're getting self-righteous. Where does that self-righteousness come from? When I get mean, angry, judgmental, critical, I get harsh, I think nasty thoughts. I get needy and my emotions get messy. And when I don't get my way, I can get mean. And so there's all this stuff that comes up. This is our humanity. When we find ourselves in that part of us, that's the red dog. That's the triggered self, right? The ego that's trying to protect you. That's just taking over. It's always coming from a source of pain, and we have to be able to find compassion and love so that we can calm down that triggered self and we can get back to this. Get back to humility, forgiveness for ourselves, for other people, right? To say, I'm sorry. And we've got to learn to do better. And the only way we're going to learn to do better is if we can treat ourselves better and to treat each other better, especially in those moments where we're not showing up well. We've got to be able to see through to something deeper. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to understand where it comes from.